Get your notes takers ready because you're gonna have three of our top agents with decades of experience on, well, I wouldn't want to say on stage at the table today, sharing all of their most best practices for business, trying to make sure you guys can emulate their success. So let me introduce them from, I guess, from my closest to furthest. This is Rosanne Rojo. Rosanne, tell them where you're from, how long you've been in the business, and some numbers for last year. What do you plan on doing this year?
Okay, so
Upcoming year.
I've been in the business for 18 and a half years. Originally born in Trinidad and Tobago and immigrated to the United States in 1969. And I worked in the dental field for 30 years, and then I came into real estate and been doing that since 2012. I joined this company. And I'm out of the Cypress office, but I have worked in the Cerritos office, the Lakewood office, the Bixby office. And they're all great offices.
Let's hear it for Rosanne. Next, we have the man with the golden voice. Here's Fred Salas. Tell us about yourself. How long you been in the business? What you know, all that good stuff. Tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you very much. I started in 1986 at the age of 21. I'm 60, and we're going on 4 decades now. So I started a little company called Golden West Realtors, and then I was persuaded in 1989 to join a group that was prestigious, had a higher end sales price, and that was Mulhern Gallery of Homes in 1989. And here we are. I've come full circle.
Long time, Fred.
It
Thank you
has
for
been.
joining us today.
My pleasure.
Give it up for Fred Salas. Last but definitely not least, we have Miss Cindy de Los Santos. Yeah.
Hi.
Out in force.
Right.
This is outside. All right.
My name is Cindy. I'm from the Cerritos office. I actually joined Bruce Mulhern at the beginning of my career, which was in 2007. I wanted this career because my parents pushed me to buy a home when I was 20 years old. And since then, I decided that this was it for me. And I'm so happy to be doing this for a living. 16 years, and I can't see myself doing anything else full time.
We're grateful to have you, Cindy.
Thank you.
All right. Now, here's the format for today, ladies and gents. If you haven't been to one of our top agent panels before, here's what we're going to do. We have some questions for the panelists. We're going to go, left to right, right to left, and of course, you guys can interject whenever you have a nugget. But we're going to save all of the questions for the end. Okay, this should run about maybe 45 minutes of questions here with us answering and whatnot. Then maybe about 10 to 15 minutes of questioning from the audience afterwards. As we know, the people here in this room who took the time to wake up, get here early, right? You guys are going to have the opportunity to have your questions answered first. After all the questions in the room have been answered, then we'll go to those who are on Zoom. We'll see how many of those we can get. But of course, the panelists will be here, everybody except for Rosanne, because she has an appointment immediately after this. They'll be here to answer some more questions if we run out of time. But I appreciate your patience with this. Please turn your cell phones off on silent. Do not have any volume. We don't want to hear any cat videos going off or none of that stuff. No text messages, no alarms. Please turn your cell phones on silent so this doesn't interrupt our panel today. This will be and is being recorded. So I believe that we're going to be putting this on our YouTube channel later on for you guys to consume this content later. But that said, what we're going to do is we're going to start with questions from our top agents here on the panel in regards to how they started in the business. Rosanne, you're closest to me. So I'm going to ask you the first question. Okay. As a brand new licensee, I know it's been a while for a lot of us up here. As a brand new licensee, your first couple of years, what were some of the toughest obstacles you faced in getting your real estate sales career started?
So for me, it was not knowing what to say. So I got my license. I interviewed with some companies. Everybody wants to hire you. And then I got hired and they say, get your business cards and just go out there and talk to people. And there was no direction that was given to me. And I found that very difficult because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to give as a handout to people. Not having a manager that kind of took me under their wing and said, okay, this is what you should do. This is a typical schedule. this is what you should be studying. So that was it for me.
Brett, how about yourself? I know you started your own company, right? But as a brand new agent, starting out, 40 years ago, what are some of the big challenges you faced and how did you overcome those?
Surrounding myself with the right people. There was no training, rigid training like we have in today's marketplace, where most offices have coaching and training and telling you what to do and how to do it. I remember going on the first caravan. We looked at about 5 or 6 homes. I was wondering, why are we doing this? Why are we looking at property? I didn't understand that you're getting familiar with the inventory. And why do we look at real estate? Why do we go look at homes? To get good at pricing. So you know the marketplace and you know the stats. And there was just a lack of training back in that era. There was no disclosure statements. There wasn't a lot of paperwork. When I got in, there was a 1-page purchase contract, primarily blank. You filled in the buyer's name, you filled in the seller's name, then you filled in the details, the terms and conditions of the contract. And that was pretty much it. So I would have to say the most challenging part was not having good leadership, which is something that we do have now, right? Great leadership, men in the back, doing a great job for everybody. So if you're a new agent, keywords, I always tell the kids, pay attention. Pay attention.
Good deal. Cindy, how about yourself?
For me, it's completely different. For me, it was really just believing in myself, because it was tough to go into a business that you know nothing about. And just believing in myself. I did have the right managers and the right people, thank God. And it was, Paul Britton back at the Norwalk office. And he was able to take me under his wing and believed in me more before I did, believed in myself. So I think it was that, and then just consistency was an issue for me. Yeah.
How'd you get over that?
I just did the same thing every single day until it worked. That's all I can do. Otherwise, I had nothing else to do. I didn't have a job. So I had to go to the office.
You had to figure it out.
Yeah, I had to figure it out.
Okay, I understand. So let me ask, sticking with you, Cindy, as a brand new agent, what were some of the smartest things you invested in? And let's be honest and share with the group, what are some of the silliest things you thought, why did I spend my money on that? Okay.
Right.
Any tips?
So the smartest thing I invested in was myself. It was paying for the trainings, getting coaching, just being able to invest in learning for myself. There wasn't really anything physical that I bought, but if I had to think of something that was silly to spend on, it was probably like paying for marketing that I shouldn't have been paying for. I should have just done it for free.
Give me a little bit more context. Okay, so you said you invested in yourself. Did you take, real estate classes? Did you take maybe a realtor designation course? What were
Be
the
more
classes?
specific.
Yeah, be a little bit more specific. So what, if you're a new agent, you invest in yourself, but in which way did you do that, Cindy?
So I decided to go full on into Mike Ferry, and of course they have a coaching program.
Programs.
Right. And so I decided to invest myself in coaching, committed to 6 months to a year. And designations, I don't have any, but there's so many free classes out there that
You
you
do have
can.
one, top producing agent.
Okay,
there you
okay.
go.
I didn't pay for that one.
You earned it.
I earned it, yes. So that would be the things that I invested in myself in, that did cost money that were worth it.
Now, when you talked about marketing, some silly things, right? What was something specifically, and it's okay, it's just us in here and nobody else.
Cutco. Cutco.
Cutco, okay, so putting your name on a Cutco knife, and so that didn't work for you. Was there?
Well, it wasn't at the level of where I was at to be spending that money.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like there was other things I could have spent on that were less expensive and.
Like what? What could you, if you could say, hey, I have $1,000 to spend, I'm a new agent, where do I put my money at? Knowing what you know now, where would you put that money?
$1,000.
Mhm.
That's a good question. I'm trying to think back what was available back then. Because there's so much today. Probably,
I'm gonna come back to you in a
yes,
second.
please, because
Think
I
about
can't
it.
think
We're gonna ask the
right
same
now.
question to Fred and Roseanne.
Okay.
Fred, you're a brand new agent. Some of the smartest things you invested in to build your business, and give us 1 or 2 things you're like, man, why did I do that? And live and learn, never again.
Well, I think originally most new agents, in fact, all new agents gravitate to buyers. And why is that? because there's not a lot of skill involved. No offense to anybody, but there's not a lot of skill involved when you're working with buyers. Why? Because if they fall in love with a house, they're going to buy it regardless of who's selling it to them. Now, if they're going to sell the number one asset in their portfolio, they might need somebody that has the skills to handle the selling edge for the selling side. That's why listings are at a premium. And when I think back to the days, the early days, the best money I spent was on open house signs. Open house signs were very important. And I was having open houses because that was the only way I knew how to generate leads. Now, fast forward 39 years later, I know how to generate leads, and I evaluate all those leads and I qualify those leads before I spend a second trying to help them, because everybody has to be pre-qualified. The biggest waste of money I ever spent was Home and Land magazine or whatever those promotional magazines were. I wish I had that money back.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. You're coming out of the grocery store, those magazines that came out 2 weeks after the listing was sold. I know what you're
Right,
talking about.
right.
Yeah, I got you. Thanks for sharing that, Brent.
You're welcome.
Rosanne, brand new agent. Okay.
Best thing was, I got my name tag and I bought my business cards and I bought 20 open house signs and then I've added, now I have over 100. So if anybody needs to borrow some. It's got my name and number on it. The worst thing that I spent money on was realtor.com.
Tell us more about that, because, last top agent panel, we had, some superstars up here and they all said that buying leads online was something they did not do and did not believe in. Tell us more about that. What was your experience buying online leads?
I would get people that were already listed or people that were just looking for information, nobody that was really looking to buy or sell. And then at that time, they were sending out leads to 3 agents at a time. So it was just for me a total waste of money.
Do you mind if I ask, how much money do you think you wasted buying online leads?
How much?
Just an estimate.
Maybe 10,000.
Did you close any of those?
No.
And you're a closer.
Yeah.
You are a closer. Otherwise you wouldn't be up here. So you spent about $10,000 on online leads and none of it really panned out for you. That's not that's kind of not out of the norm.
But I like to chase the shiny things. Right, Rosanne?
Well, here's what we know. About 96% of online leads are garbage.
Yeah.
Okay. So you gotta get about 100 leads and maybe 3 or 4 of them will transact in 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Okay, but you gotta follow up like crazy. So it's not easy. I love that, you guys, 2 of you said open house signs. That's engagement, face to face, as Bruce used to say, belly to belly engagement with the person, creating the rapport. And I love that you guys mentioned that open house signs. Where's Kerry at? He's left. He has an open house, right?
Yeah.
He's holding something. Yeah, he says a bunch of engagement. I love that he said that too. It all kind of circles back.
Vic, I think for any of the newer agents that are on this Zoom looking at us, every time you get a paycheck, go and buy yourself some signs and build up your inventory. That's like the best advice I could give.
Yeah. Here, Rosanne, since we're talking about that, as a new agent, did you start off full-time or part-time?
I started out part-time for 6 years,
You're a part-time agent for 6 years. Okay.
but my job was 7 to 3, so I was home by 4, and most people want to look at homes between 5 and 9 when they get off work and on the weekends, and I didn't work weekends, so it worked for me.
Yeah, that's really good. So you were a part-time agent for almost 6 years, and then you made the transition into a full-time career.
Yes.
Good for you. That's good. And Fred, I know you started off your own business, but were you part-time at first? Were you working 2 jobs trying to get this off the ground?
No, I didn't start off in my own business. I started off full-time. I was a supervisor at UPS. I was one of the youngest supervisors. I had 12 people underneath me, and I got fired. And what happened was I took my real estate exam January 3rd of 1986. And on January 30th, I got that lovely envelope that said, "Congratulations, you have passed." And I got fired the following week. So it was meant to be. And I think I earned $26,000 the first year. My first listing was a for sale by owner that I got out of the penny saver. I listed it for 5%. I paid out 3 and I got 2. I think $1,300 was the biggest check I had gotten. back in the day, and that was in 1986. So that 26 grand more than doubled what I was making as a supervisor, but a part-time supervisor at UPS. So that was a good era, and it was a good time to be in real estate. And now is a good time to be in real estate. And I don't care how the climate changes, whether the market goes up and down. If you continue to develop your skills and you work harder on yourself and you practice on a regular basis, and a lot of new agents practice what to say and how to say it. You have to know. There are no objections that a seller can give you that haven't been done a million times. But if they say, well, you cut your commission and you don't know what to say, or, another agent said they can give me more money and you don't know what to say, good luck with that. Because when they interview me, I know what to say. 90% of my business is listings. And if you're a buyer and you're not going to meet with me in my office, we're done. My time is way too valuable. And I can say my efficiency rate back in the day, in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, is not where it's at now. My efficiency rate is the highest level it's ever been. I don't waste any time. And I seldom work on the weekends. I don't like having open houses, so I don't have them. Waiting for somebody to come to me is not the way of prospecting. For me, prospecting is getting out there, making calls. This is a phone call and face-to-face business. And if you have an offer on my listing and you're texting me, chances are excellent. We're not going to do business. You're not going to get that. You're not going to sell my listing. We have to have a conversation, because I'm going to ask you a few questions and know whether, regardless of how qualified your client is, regardless of how motivated they are, if you don't answer my questions and you're not a good agent, chances are your client's not going to get that listing, because I'm going to have multiple offers on every listing, because we list them at a price that's going to cause them to sell. We're not going to list them up here and wait for an offer to come in. We're going to list it here and entertain multiple offers. That make sense?
I don't know about you guys, but I got to get myself to scripts and dialogues.
Every Monday at the Whittier office at 11:45, we do what's called a rapid fire role play. I host it, and it's evolved into a little bit of a coaching session, but it's very valuable. So you can always tune in, and we can go with a Zoom if you'd like to do that, if there's enough interest.
There's a
All
right. Great. I love that. Fred, thank you so much. Cindy, let me ask you this. When you went into this business and you guys, you didn't know what you were doing, were you part-time agent or were you full-time? And how'd that work out for you?
So I was hired to be full-time agent, and part of that, I remember Paul said to me, he said, go sit with all the top producers. These are the people that are the top producers in this office, and interview them and ask them and see where or what they're doing that would fit in with you. And it was the short sale era, 2007. We were, the market was crashing at that point. So a lot of my learning was listening to the top agents make phone calls to mortgage banks, negotiating. I learned so much in terms of skills of negotiating because of that time. And I remember people telling me it's a bad time to be in real estate. It was amazing for me because I learned so much from that time that it literally prepared me for where I am today. So full-time was crucial for me. I didn't have any other job. I didn't want any other job. I wanted to work for myself. So yeah, full time.
That was a sink or swim market.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
You learn short sales, and nobody knew how to do them back then.
Yeah. No, we were all learning as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at some point during that short sale default market, it was something like 93-94% of all listings on MLS were in default.
Yeah.
There was very, very few standard sales. So it was really the era of like pros versus amateurs. And I think maybe it's safe to say that time is here again with this NAR settlement, SP,
Right.
BRBC stuff. Yeah. You can't close a client. You don't know what to say. Like Fred mentioned, if you don't know what to say and how to say it, you're going to have a hard time.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first listing was my daughter's private school. I think it was at 1.1 in 2007, which was unheard of, but it was because I knew what to say. Let me take the listing. I know how to call the banks. I know what to tell them. It was a good first listing transaction for me. And I never looked back after that.
$1.1 million for your first listing.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you. That's nice. That's beautiful. Fred's talking about, got a check for $1,700. I just got, listing for 1.1. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Very good.
it was great.
All right, let's move on here. Before we get into the best practices, real quickly, I know tax time is coming up for many people in the next 3 to 4 months, right? You guys incorporate your business? If so, why? When? Cindy, wanna
I
ask you that
did.
question.
I
Yeah.
just opened up my S corp for my business actually this year. And it was for tax reasons because I've gone back and forth with the IRS for way too long. And I just felt like it was the best thing to do for myself so that I can move forward with the confidence that I am going to be paid separately and that my business will be a business. So that happened this year. For that reason.
Yeah, you gotta save some money on taxes. Nobody
Correct.
wants to pay more
No.
taxes.
Mm-mm.
Nobody. Fred, how about yourself?
No, I'm not incorporated.
Not incorporated. Yet?
Yeah.
Roseanne?
Yet.
Yet? Okay, okay. Not a big deal. Just want to make sure we know where we're standing business wise. Let's go into best practices. This is really one where you want to get your notes out because we're going to ask some questions where you probably want answers to, right? How many of you guys and girls are looking for more business in 2025? Just half the room. The rest of you guys here for auditing, maybe? Yeah. How many of you guys want to know what these top agents are doing to get this business? Isn't the hardest thing in the real estate sales business to get the leads? Like, that's the hardest thing, right? Would you guys maybe agree with that? The hardest thing is to get.
No.
Fred's saying no, he's saying no. No, those are easy.
That's easy.
Can I say
That's the
why?
easy part. Yeah, tell us why.
You go to hang out at the mall, you talk to 100 people, or you send out 10,000 postcards. If you don't know what to say and what to say, you're not going to convert the leads. The hardest thing, unless you're a highly skilled agent, is to convert the lead into a contract. You get the lead, you get the appointment. The appointment should lead to a contract, especially now that there's buyer contracts, buyer broker agreements. But you get the lead, you qualify the lead, you go on the appointment, you get a contract signed. I have not gone on one listing appointment in the last 3 years that I did not get a contract signed. Why? Everybody is pre-qualified. And you have to pre-qualify 100% of the people 100% of the time. This is Mike Ferry. And I lost millions of dollars over the years not being a Mike Ferry trained agent. Hands down, the greatest trainer on the planet, if you want to work. Real simple. Qualify the lead. You make sure every listing you go on is a bona fide listing lead. And you don't leave out any questions on the pre-qualification. What I say makes sense and you're comfortable and confident that I can get your home sold. Are you planning to list with me when I come out? That's a hard question for the amateur to ask. But if you're a skilled professional, it's real easy. Well, no, why not? Because we're not going to sell our house. Well, then I'm not coming out. Right?
Yeah.
Well, because we're interviewing other agents. Wow, I just drew the objection out. Now I know that there's competition. Well, who else are you speaking to regarding getting your home sold? What's most important to you in getting the home sold? How will you know when you find the right agent? Is it something you're going to feel? Something they're going to share with you? And then you're going to share with somebody else? Or it's just, you're going to know it's the right guy or the right girl. Those are questions you should be asking up front. When we get together, how much you want to list your home for? Everybody in this marketplace, it's never been easier to know what their home is worth. So if they say, well, I don't know, you're the real estate expert, you tell me. Well, thank you for recognizing I'm the expert. As a professional agent, I study prices of homes every single day. Therefore, I assume you'd list with me at a price that's going to cause it to sell. So what price won't you go below? You have to know what to say. And if you don't, good luck. I'm going to get that listing, especially if we're competing. But you have to qualify all the prospects. All right. Qualify, qualify, qualify every time. So you don't waste it time. Make sense?
I like it. Isn't it true?
Thank you very much.
Isn't it true though, right?
Yeah.
We get a lead, we follow up with that lead, we set the appointment, we come to the agreement, we open escrow, troubleshoot escrow because it's never easy, and close escrow, and then as you mentioned, you take some of that commission check, you reinvest into getting more leads. That's what we do in this business. That's all that we do. You have to get great at all of it. So I want to ask you guys, you're all great at your business. Rosanne, I want to start with you, heading down to Cindy's way. Describe your typical workday. Walk us through your morning routine, what your midday looks like, how you end your day strong. How does this work for you? How do you run your business?
Good question. All right, for those of you that are here, I handed out what my schedule should look like. Okay, this is what I should be doing every day to generate business. Whether it takes me 4 hours or 8 hours, that's up to me. So, incorporated into this exercise. I go to church. I try to go every morning so I get connected with my God, and block out a time for lunch. I don't have places on my schedule where I'm going to go on a listing appointment because I don't know when those are going to come up. So I just have times blocked where if I have an appointment, I'm going to that. That becomes my priority for the day. In between, I'm working on the car forms. I'm educating myself, listen to tapes or there's so much stuff on the internet right now. Every morning you should just be listening to something. I also coach with Mike Ferry, with Tom Ferry, Debbie DeGroot. I do Luis Carrion's coaching on Tuesdays. Guys, get on that. He's paying a lot of money and he's giving us free coaching. So take advantage of that. The handout, the business cards, it was really fun because I wear my name plate everywhere. I was in Stater Brothers one day, and this gentleman was talking to the cashier, and he saw my name plate badge, and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna have a garage sale this weekend." And I said, "Well, allow me to put up the signs for you because I have 50 garage sale signs." So he let me do that. And then he kept my business card, and a year later referred his daughter to me to help her buy a house, which she did and eventually end up buying after COVID in Garden Grove. So you just never know. Just have your name badge on so people know that you're in the business. Thank you notes. When was the last time you got a thank you note or a birthday card or happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving in the mail? People don't take the time to do that anymore. And so it makes you stand out, makes me stand out. So, yeah.
How do you end your day? How do you end your week? How do you wind down?
You know, I get into the office around 7 in the morning, and I'm in there, I'm listening to the other agents, guys. Like Cindy said, you get to hear how they're talking to their clients on the phone. You can practice your scripting with other agents in the office, do your affirmations every morning. How do I wind down my week? I just feel like I'm on the go 7 days a week. I don't really wind down. I don't wind down. You know me, you know I don't wind down. Just because I was born in Trinidad doesn't mean I've got all the grooves, right?
Oh, thanks for sharing that, Rosanne. Thanks for sharing that. Fred, let me ask you, what does your typical work day look like? What time do you start your day when you're in the office? What does your midday look like? How do you wind down? Because this is
I don't.
busy all the time.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm the
I'm
opposite.
busy.
Winding down is very important, but winding up is even more important. Well, they're both equally important, I should say. First thing you would do as a real estate agent, if I were training somebody brand new, I'd say structure. All right. Get a daily schedule. And if you go into my office, you're going to see a year at a glance every day. So next week, the week of, what is it, the 16th, 17th, I'm going to go to Office Depot and I'm going to get the year at a glance. And there's 365 days, right? And then there's 52 weeks in a year. So that's 104 days of weekends that I'm not going to be working. I put an F on those weekends. That's family time. Every day, Monday through Friday, is going to have a W. That's a work day. All right. So I'm going to have about 205 work days. Now, I think there's about 235 work days, 238, something like that. But we all mess up and we get up and sometimes we just don't feel like doing it. So I'm going to account for all of 2025 on a year at a glance calendar, have it in my office. So I can look and see where I'm gonna be. If somebody says, hey, we're on the 16th, we're doing this, and I have to look and see if that's a work day, right? Now I have my daily schedule, which doesn't change. The first thing I do when I get up is I work out. Then I throw on my headset and I call at least 5 PCs. And this is before I even leave the house. PC is a past client. SOI is a sphere of influence. These are people that know me, all right? They know me, they know what I do. Here's the difference between, I'm going to give you 2 things. There's a sales call and there is a organic call. So I used to, even with my past clients, say, hey, this is Fred. Hey, I've got a new listing over on Nashville. I've just put it on the market for $749. Gosh, if you could think of anybody that would be interested in this property, give me a call. Love to hear from you. Thank you very much. That is a sales call. And if I'm doing circle prospecting around a new listing or a sold listing, that's what it's going to sound like. But here's an organic call. Hey, John, Mary, and let's say I'm leaving them a message. And all these calls take less than 60 seconds. Joe, Mary, hey, it's Fred. Hey, I drove by your house over the weekend, just thinking about you guys. Gosh, what has it been? 12 years since we got you that house? Hey, listen, I just want to let you know, we'll always be grateful for you putting food on the table. We appreciate you. Have a Merry Christmas. You don't need to call me back. I'll be sure to catch up with you on the other side of the new year. Enjoy the day, and thanks again. That's an organic call, right? They already know me and they know what I do, right? And so write this down. Morning time is money time. That's when you need to be communicating. I don't take any administrative stuff in the morning. I don't meet appraisers. I don't meet physical inspectors. They're on my schedule. I got an appraisal call yesterday for a listing that's pending. Sunday night. Thought about it. Why would she call me on a Sunday night after 6 o'clock? But I called her back. She was grateful. She wanted to meet with me at 11:30 to do an appraisal. Who's in control of their business?
You are.
I'm in control. So I just said, you know what? I'm booked tomorrow. Can we make it on Tuesday? Well, I really want to get it done. My clients would never forgive me if the value did not come in because I'm not there to support the data or support the price. So it has to be on Tuesday. Now I could be there at 10 o'clock or is 11:30 better for you? 10 o'clock works. Boom, it's booked. My schedule. Morning time is money time. Why? Because I'm here right now, but normally I just be on the horn. And sometimes I get to the office as late as 11:30, but I've already got a half dozen calls in the books. And then I just get on the phone and I try to get to 10 a day. My database, structure. The tighter my schedule is, the more free time I have. Most people get into real estate because they want to dictate their own business and they're not making any money. So you have to have structure. Again, write this down. The tighter my schedule is, the more free time I have. So if you have a routine, and my schedule is the same every single working day, and I seldom work, unless you're listing your house with me on a Saturday morning, I'm not working on the weekends. I don't like to. That's how to recharge the battery. But Monday through Friday, I'm going to grind. I'm going to talk to a lot of people. And that's the focus. So the schedule, knowing every day you're going to work in a calendar year in advance of that year. And then actually following your schedule. Because if you follow your schedule 70% of the time, you're going to make a lot of money. And I'm probably about 60% of the time.
Brett, let me ask you, tight schedule. I really like that. We're gonna get into time management in a second, but when about do you wrap your day up?
I try to be done by 5, 6 o'clock at the latest, sometimes 4 o'clock. And the last thing I'll do is if I forgot to, talk to somebody, I'll just make that call. I might make it on the way home. And I could just tell my call PC. Here's PC. And there's like 200 people on my phone that are PCs. And I'll just come with my car and I want to talk to them. I want to talk to them. I want to talk to them. But administrative stuff is done in the afternoon. I take care of everything. Hopefully I've got an appointment to go on, a listing presentation, or somebody's coming in the office. But if there's no listing presentation, I'll make a couple more calls and then call it a day. Right? And go home and enjoy my evening. Right?
You're on for dinner.
Yeah. Or go out to dinner.
That's good. Very good.
So that's the line of thinking.
I like that, Fred. Thanks for sharing. I really
Sure.
appreciate that. That's good. We're gonna get into time management in a second, but I want to ask Cindy the same thing. What is your typical work day look like? What time do you start your day? What's your morning routine? What does your midday look like? When do you wind down? Do you wind down? Tell us about it.
So I have a toddler, so winding down is not in my schedule. But in the morning, I have made it such a important part of my day to get up and meditate, pray and read and listen to an audiobook. Being in high energy for me before anybody wakes up in my home or before I step into the office, which I hold myself responsible for the energy I bring everywhere I go. And so that gets me ready for my morning, which Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I drop off my daughter at daycare. I go for my hour workout with my trainer, which I just implemented recently, which has helped me so much with my mindset and just feeling strong and coming across strong and all of that. I get to the office around 11. I'm big on thank you notes as well. I do 5 a day. I'll even do it to my barista at the coffee place because I just feel like everybody who has a part of my day, I'm grateful for. And so I do that. I do my past client and COI calls. I definitely also take care of administrative work in the afternoon. I'm constantly looking and looking at the people. I have a list of people that are looking to buy or sell on my board. I'm constantly looking to see how I can service them. I'm making cold calls. I'm looking to see when I'm going to door knock. I don't work every day of the week. And luckily, I hope it continues. I work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometimes on Tuesday and Thursday. And I've done great doing that. I do some stuff from home Tuesday and Thursdays. Winding down at work means, the 4 o'clock time frame, just because I have to go get my daughter from daycare from them, and then it's all about her after that. Obviously, I'll take care of things if I need to, but I enjoy my work days because this year they've become easier, they've become better, they've become more about what I'm doing in the time frame that I am in the office. Coming to the office makes such a difference too, because I'm working with a bunch of great high energy people that, of course, spark up a deal or spark up an idea, or we're just all working on something that's wonderful synergy, and our office is great. So again, it's probably 11 to 4 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And I do so much between that time, including taking calls from my family if I need to, but I feel like it all works for me. It has. I don't always work weekends unless I have to, taking buyers out, qualified buyers, of course. And then I do have some blocks for some listing appointments, and I will never miss a listing appointment, even if it's on a Tuesday or Thursday.
Of course not. I don't think any agent would miss a qualified listing presentation appointment.
Right.
You're certainly not going to be late for that. Now, sticking with you, Cindy, let's talk about scheduling. Okay, you mentioned you have your typical work week. You're kind of in a habit there. You've created some habits for yourself. Earlier today, you said getting consistent was a big part of you being successful in this business. How are you time blocking? Are you using a paper calendar? Are you using sticky notes? Are you using Google Calendar, Apple Calendar? What is it that you're using to time block all of your activities? And how far in advance are you time blocking these activities for yourself to make sure they get in your schedule?
So I do a week before, because my weeks don't always look the same. Sometimes I have a sick child. So my weeks are blocked off a week before. So on Sundays, and it's a reminder on my phone. It's a Google Calendar reminder. And I have in there, practice scripts, doing whatever I need to do. And then I add in there what my appointments are or what's happening. But I get constant reminders on my phone, which I did the paper thing and I used to love that, but I don't always take that everywhere. So my phone is the one that.
Do you time block your lead generation
Time.
activities as well?
Correct.
So like if you're going to be doing some cold calls or
From 1 to 2, 1 to 3, I block that off. Doesn't always happen the way I plan it, but I do block them off.
Okay. And are you doing like Sunday power planning for the week, or like that's what you're doing?
Yes,
On
Sunday.
You're sitting down and you're planning out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then next Sunday you look ahead and you plan it all out that way.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
got it.
On Sundays.
Got it. I understand. Fred, same question. You have a very tight schedule. I love that you said the tighter your schedule is, the more free time that you have. I 100% subscribe to that. I think they always say the people who are the busiest get the most done for a reason. So give that task to that person. They're going to find a way to get it done and move on very quickly. What are you using right now to keep yourself on schedule or time block all of your required activities to stay as successful as you are?
I have a legal pad. And on Mondays, sometimes Sunday evening, I will write out all the things that need to be accomplished by the following Sunday. So 7 days. And it's usually 2 pages worth of stuff. And I love checking it off. I love just checking the box. It's done, it's done, it's done, it's done. And whether it's an important call or whether it's an activity or whether it's an appointment or whether it's get Pico Vista sold this week or whether it's get that buyer in the office this week, it's a legal pad. And it works for me. It really does. And it's very much like talking to people. Remember, communication, if you broke it down 100%, is 58% is visual, right? 35% is the tone of your voice, and only 7% is what you say. What happens when you're on the telephone? The visual goes bye-bye. So you have to have a good tone, and the words you use are even more amplified. So you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're saying. Remember, if you don't believe you're the authority in this business, when you're on the phone with somebody, you're done. I have it in my office, and it's not for me to be the authority in every conversation, but it says that, Fred, you're the authority in every conversation you have. So when I'm on the phone and I'm prospecting and somebody blows me off or tells me, sod off or whatever, next, I'm the authority. They benefit by communicating with me, right? That's why they pay me big money to take care of them. So I don't care if I'm at home and I get the call and I got my headset on, I'm the authority. And if you have that mentality, but you have the skill to back it up, that's key. But now you can write your own ticket. Now you can be efficient. Now you're not nervous. Now here's something else. Don't be attached to the outcome. All right. Don't be attached to the outcome. So many agents are attached because they've done one deal to you. They really need the money. Gosh, it's got to close next week. Christmas is coming. And they're attached. And when you're attached to the outcome, it's not good. And I let all my clients know, hey, listen, I'm not attached to the outcome. I don't need the money. I want the money. I want to earn the money, but I'm not attached to the outcome. And the benefit for you is I'm going to make recommendations that are in your best interest, not in mine. Agents that are attached to the outcome, they're not always going to do what's in their client's best interest. They may not even tell them the truth of the whole story. And that's not good. You lose your license that way. You want to be able to be the authority and tell them the truth every single time and not be attached to whatever they say. And if you're prospecting on a regular basis, if you have a database, or if you know how to circle prospect, or you have an open house, or you call for sale by owners or expired listings, you're always going to be generating leads, so you don't have to be attached to the outcome. But if you only have one deal in the hopper, and that's the one for the year, you're kind of attached, especially if you need the money. So if you increase your skill set, you won't be attached to the outcome, right? You have to, and if you are, sometimes you have to have that go to town money. There was an old real estate trainer called Tommy Hopkins. He had the Official Guide to Success. I remember reading that in '85. And he used to say, have 3x5 cards in your pocket. And one of them is have that go to town money. And I remember in '86 needing that listing and having nothing in my pocket but a $5 bill. And I went in there and I made a presentation and I got the listing. But it started up here. It was between the ears. So those are the things you have to be focused on, thinking about. And if you need the go to town money, have it in your pocket, have it in your head. But more often than not, don't be attached to the outcome. But specifically, you were asking about the schedule.
Yeah.
All right. So we already covered that ground.
Legal pad for you.
The legal
It
pad,
works.
how do I stay on the schedule?
I've seen
The
all
legal
kinds of
pad,
stuff.
that
Legal
works.
pads, I've seen sticky notes on their desk, all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff.
No, my desk is clean, no sticky notes. It's a legal
What are you
pad.
doing? Are you using a
Keep
legal
it
pad?
all.
Are you using a digital calendar? How are you staying on top of your schedule? What systems are you using to make sure you meet all of your time management goals?
So I have everything on my phone, and when you put it on your phone, you can transfer it to every Monday or every Tuesday or every Wednesday. So
Yeah.
it's automatically on there. And then I have the orange OC titles calendar on my desk, and I have stuff on there that are like the real important things that make sure you don't forget this in case your phone goes down.
Yeah.
And then I've got the sticky notes.
Oh, you got all of it.
I got it all.
Your tech and then your you got paper backup.
I got places to go and people to meet, and darn it if I miss a single one of them.
I understand. Speaking of that, how are you doing on time for your appointment?
What time is it?
You okay? She said what time is 11:40.
Okay,
Yeah, all right. Got some time?
2 minutes.
All right, I'm gonna ask you one more question, okay?
Okay.
This is a big one. Top 3 to 5 lead generation activities that are producing appointments for you right now. Not what was working for you 5 years ago. What is working right now to set more appointments with serious buyers, sellers, or investors?
Okay, so, I'm not good at calling people and getting hung up on and rejected over the expired calls. So I'm mailing an email to all of the expireds every day. I have a virtual assistant and, we drafted the letter, we put it through AI,
What company did you use to get your virtual assistant?
NSOL BPO out of Pakistan.
See that slower?
NSOL
NSOL
BPO,
BPO.
and they're out of Pakistan.
Is that a website? Can they search that on
Oh,
Google?
yeah. And,
Anyway, what are you paying your virtual assistant?
$6.50 an hour,
$6.50 an hour. Good to go.
and they get to do all the things I don't want to do. So I'm doing the expireds, reaching out to my sphere of influence, my forever agents. They're not my past clients, they're my forever clients. And then open house, because LeJean taught me a long time ago that when you want to buy clothes, you go to Nordstrom's. When you want to buy food, you go to Vons. And when you want to buy a house, you go to an open house, right? And if you want to sell a house, you're going to go to the open house and you're going to be interviewing the agent that's at the house, holding it open. So be on your game the whole time. Have the mindset, have the confidence, right? And sell what you are and who you are and what you are doing.
So Roseanne, for you, expireds.
Expireds, sphere of influence, my past,
Forever
my
clients.
forever agents
Open
and the open
houses.
house.
Those are your 4 main ones. Are any of those 4 things out of the ordinary?
No,
How consistent are you, Roseanne?
consistent,
Consistent,
daily.
daily, weekly, monthly, all the time. I get it. So 4 things right now. Fred, same question for you. What are the top 3 to 5 lead generation activities that are bringing you qualified appointments right now?
Database. How many people in here have a database? Okay.
Good.
Well, you all have one. It's all the contacts in your phone. So if you don't have a top producer software, which I use, holding your database, all your clients, past clients, sphere, everybody you know, everybody you give money to, your database and your contacts in your phone, you should be talking at least 5 a day. Hey, I'm in real estate. I'm in real estate. I just wanted to check in. Can you think of anybody that could use my services right now, either buying or selling? It's a great time. So database number 1, my past client, my sphere. That's number 1. There's not a lot of for sale by owners out there right now. There's not a lot of FSBOs. There's a lot of expireds because agents have taken over price listings. Why does the listing expire? Not the agent, because if it's a good property and it's priced right, it's going to sell regardless of who's listing it. But it is a price issue. So I haven't been hitting the expireds as hard as I could be because a lot of them, they lack motivation. Remember, highly qualified, highly motivated, right? No overpriced listings. Take listings. Well, I can get my sign out there. I know it's overpriced. Why would you do that? That's a form of malpractice. And if there was real estate malpractice, everybody would be getting sued that's taking overpriced listings. So number 1, past clients, sphere of influence. That's my database. Number 2 is circle prospecting, right? I have a listing in an area. I take 500 numbers at a time and I'll just call, hey, this is Fred call. And I don't leave messages for people that don't know me because you're wasting your time. It takes about a minute to leave a message on let's say I called 123 Elm Street and I get an answering machine. Hey, this is Fred, Berkshire Hathaway. I've just listed your neighbor's home and I don't even know if I'm leaving a message for the kid that's living in the basement, right? And they're not going to listen to the message. Now, if it's a past client or a sphere and they know me, then I'm going to leave a message and that I count as a contact. But if it's circle prospecting or an expired, don't leave a message. because they're not going to listen to it and it's a waste of your time. So I go from database, circle prospecting. And if there's any for sale by owners, I go back to 86. My first deal was a FSBO. So I like for sale by owners. I love them. And I know I can help them. And that's the belief system. So that's the extent of it. And then anybody I talk to, if I meet somebody face to face, what do you do? What do I do? I might share a couple of details with the things that I do.
Let me ask you a question, Brett. You're making a lot of calls. Now, the sphere of influence calls, they're all on your phone. But when you do your geographic calls, your circle calls,
Mhm.
are you using a dialer system? Is it all by hand? I mean,
It's arts communication.
Arch
Art communication. And there's Mojo as well. I know Lujan had offered me Mojo and I haven't taken him up on that. I'm going to. But you don't want to buy a dialer at $200 a month if you don't have the habit. You have to have the habit. It has to be in your schedule.
Yeah.
It has to be in your schedule and you have to be in the habit because otherwise you're wasting money. Make sense?
It does make a lot of sense. I also want to ask you this question here. Oh, no, actually, I'll ask you the question. Remind everybody, if you're using a dialer, you should not be leaving a voicemail for anybody if you're using a dialer, okay? That is something that can get us in a lot of trouble with the FCC. So glad you're not leaving messages for people. You know, I know that our CEOs talked about that before. Do not leave messages if you're using a dialer, but they are helpful if you have the habit of using it, okay? As you have that habit.
Yeah, you have to have a conversation. And God forbid you have, when I call somebody and they say for a quicker response, please text me. What the hell are you talking about? For a quicker response, pick up the phone. We'll get more done in 30 seconds
Yeah.
of a quick dialogue than we would in 30 minutes of doing this. That's a little old school. And I tell my clients too, hey, listen, if you got a yes or no for me, yes or no question, go ahead and text me if it's easier for you.
Yeah.
But if it's a who, what, why, when, or how, we have to have a conversation. All right. And we'll get more done in 60 seconds than doing this for an hour. All right. Plus, has anybody ever misconstrued what you text? Same thing in an email. You can get yourself in a lot of trouble because they don't understand the tonality of your voice or the emotion behind the message. Unless you put 10 exclamation points on it or something like that, something silly. But have a conversation.
I agree, yeah. Good stuff. I like that. So for you, Fred, just to recap, sphere of influence, right? Circle
Database,
prospecting,
database, circle prospecting,
and
or sale by owners and expireds if it's in my neck of the woods.
gotcha. Understood. Are there anything that you've never heard before? Something that you know how to do? By the way, do we have training on that stuff?
We do.
We do. At the Whittier office as well, everywhere.
Yeah.
At every office we have training. Cindy, let me ask you the same question, okay? Being a top producing agent, being in the business a long time, what are your top 3 to 5 lead generation activities that are creating real life appointments for you right now?
It's definitely cold calling. Mojo, it's my favorite.
Are you calling expireds for sell by owners or?
No, it's
prospects?
circle prospecting.
Okay.
It gets it done. You can make 100 calls in an hour. I'm probably hitting 15 to 20 contacts at that point in an hour, which is faster than anything I've ever done. So if I want to do something quickly and get it done, it's cold calling. I door knock. Social media and sphere of influence and past clients have really worked for me this year. I don't know what it is about posting on social media, not only stuff that is educational for buying and selling and all of that, but also my life. That's gotten me like, oh, you know, I want to buy this year, or, you know, I've gotten so much from that. And past clients and COI, I mean, the trust I've gotten in the last 10 months from past clients sending me people or just purchasing again, selling again, have been huge this year. So those are the 5 things.
So circle prospecting, okay, using Mojo dialer.
Correct.
You get the single line dialer or the triple?
It's the triple.
Okay, that's 270 phone calls per hour. That's a lot. Yeah, good for you. Okay, so you got Mojo dialer. What else we have?
Door knocking.
Door knocking. Are you door knocking in your geographic farm? Or are you door knocking around your listing, your past sold? Or are you just picking a random neighborhood and saying, today I'm gonna door knock here?
No, it's my geographical farm.
Oh, so it's strategic
Yeah,
then.
right.
You're
It's strategic.
strategically
Yes.
targeting this place.
Mhm.
Okay, so we got Mojo, we got door knocking your geo farm. We have, you said,
Social media.
social media,
Mhm.
sphere of influence. And what was the 5th one?
My past clients,
Past
which is
Yeah,
similar.
sphere of
Sphere of
influence.
influence.
Okay. Anything there that is out of the ordinary? You know, you're consistent with this stuff, aren't you, Cindy?
I am.
Let's go back to social media. It's gonna be our next topic here. What is your social media strategy? Can I share a little bit about you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've known Cindy a couple of years, right? She's a good person, comes from a good family, has good daughters, you know, and she's a fun and professional person. What I like about Cindy is, if you're not following her, by the way, is she showcases not only business, but her personal life. And in my experience, a lot of people want to do business with people who they get along with, somebody who they feel they can connect with, not just on a professional level, but on a personal level too. I think Cindy does a really good job of showcasing who she is and, you know, how much she cares about people around her. So what's your strategy? Do you have a strategy? You just going with what you feel posting, or is there some calendar you're using? Is there something that, you know, you're utilizing to get it out there?
So every morning I get list reports. If I connect with what they're saying on the list reports, which was, you know, the myths of selling or the myths of this or that or the other, if I connect with what's being brought to me that morning, I'll post it because it goes with me. In terms of everything else, this year, I'm so grateful for so many things. Like, I look around and it's like my family, my support system, what I've been able to accomplish. And so it is kind of feeling, and like when I show something, whether it's my parents having breakfast at my house, whether it's my daughter doing something at the park, like, to me, I want to share what I'm grateful for in my life. And I think people connect with that just because there's so much to be grateful for, you know, every day. And I even post the office because I'm grateful for that too. So I think gratitude, it's been a big deal for me this year. And so that's come across, I think, in my social media.
Okay, now
Yeah.
when you're posting on social media, you're just kind of sharing what you're doing? Because I follow you, right?
Mhm.
So I see what you're doing. Are you using any tools or systems on IG, Facebook or something to engage? Like, I know some people ask questions,
yes,
polls,
yes.
stuff like
I've
that.
done some polls, you know, when I'm showing homes, I'll take a few pictures of the home and I'll say, guess the price, or I'll say, you know, would you rather a pool or no pool? So yeah, there is engagement. And, you know, sometimes I'll throw out there a question, are you thinking of buying or selling this year? And I'll get some people that'll interact, not always. But yes, I do some interaction sharing.
Are you getting any inspiration from any podcasts or videos or coaching, you know, entities that are helping you with your social media strategy?
No.
No, so it's
It's all
all
me.
organic,
Yes.
right? It's all right. You're using the tools, getting creative with it. Very
Yeah.
cool. But let me ask you the same thing. I know social media was not on your list of active lead generation things, but are you using social media? And if so, in what manner are you using it?
Any social media I post is typically just personal stuff. I'm at a Kings game, or I'm somewhere doing something fun. I don't post a lot, and I know a lot of agents that haven't sold anything this year, and they're on social media every day. And I don't know if it's, I guess if I had 10,000 followers, it might, and I just said a few simple things about the marketplace, it might be more valuable, but I don't have 10,000 followers. So I don't give it a lot of thought. It's something that I could probably develop and utilize more frequently. But, and again, you know, my personal life is my personal life. I don't put it out there. Not to mention that when you're going to go on a listing and it's a $2 million listing, they're going to Google the crap out of you. So you better not have anything inappropriate on there. You know, you're staggering around the bar or the boat or whatever it might be. But I'm seriously thinking about increasing the social media right now. But right now, it hasn't been responsible for anything that I have done in terms of earning money. The other thing I would mention is, and we haven't touched on it, but attire is very important in this business. And no offense to anybody that shows up in a polo shirt for a listing presentation, but if you show up in a polo shirt and I show up looking the way I do right now, which is the minimum standard, when I walk in the office, it is a minimum standard to have a suit and a tie on. And some agents, they're very successful and they don't think that way. I just have always found it. I've been doing it since 1986. Walking in the office with a suit and tie. I love the fact that we have a leader, two leaders, Luis and Dennis, that are always suited up and ready to fire away, because I'm always a phone call away from an appointment, right? And if you get a phone call and you're in the office and you're not professionally dressed and they'd like to see you and it's a bona fide listing opportunity, in the back of your mind, you might be trying to reschedule it to where, ladies, you can go home and get ready and put the makeup on, or guys, you got to go home and shave and get. You should always be ready to perform every single working day. All right. So that's just food for thought. But the social media thing is just that, it's social. Now, I know some people, it's not business media, it's social media, but some people can convert it provided they have the followers. That's key. You have a lot of followers, and I could say a couple of things, and I got 20,000 people, it would have merit. But for right now, I don't have that, so I don't use it.
I do like the fact that you brought up a tire. I do like that. I think that if you stay ready, you don't gotta get ready. You gotta get ready.
Minimum standard. Minimum standard for the men should be a suit and tie every day.
There is a short story I won't share with you now, but I think Elizabeth Sanchez in the room, she was showing a property and somebody came up and they thought it was the buyer for the appointment in shorts and a t-shirt. It was the agent.
I had a guy show up in gym clothes,
Pajamas.
and I said, "Are you the buyer?" And he said, No, I'm the agent.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything, but when he showed up, I knew the buyers. And guess what? By the end of the end of that appointment, they were sitting down at the dining room table with me. They had excused the agent. That's a true story. That happened 2 years ago. They had excused the agent. First of all, he showed up that way because he wasn't very experienced. So it was not just the clothing, but the fact that he couldn't answer their questions and I could. And it was my listing.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Interesting. Isn't it interesting? Right? Good for you, Fred. All right. We're moving on here. We're still going to stay with technology for a little bit. Now, we're coming to the end of our top agent panel, but I want to squeeze this in. New tech. What is something new that you've used in the past 12 months that was successful? And are you looking forward to anything in 2025?
Me? Okay.
Either of you.
I can't say that there is anything new that I have come across that works better than what I'm currently doing. For me, it would be just a CRM
What
that
CRM are you using?
KB Core, and I'm transitioning also into Buffini. So those are the only things I can tell you that are tech that I look forward to, expanding and using. And
Inside your CRM, obviously you're using it for client contacts.
correct.
Are you using for email drip campaigns?
Correct,
Are
yes.
you using for IP address targeting? Are you using it for Meta or Facebook ads or anything else?
No,
No? Okay.
no,
So
just for email campaigns, their birthdays, being able to, again, it's the person to person, writing them notes, making sure that I contact. Yeah,
Okay.
that I would lean more towards that than anything tech.
CRM is the
technical.
most tech tool you're
Yes.
using right now. Okay. And did you have an app on your phone with the KB core on it?
Correct.
So everything's run off your
Mhm.
phone for the most part.
Mhm,
Okay,
correct.
good. Good, good. Thanks for sharing that.
Mhm.
Fred, tech wise.
Top Producer is my CRM. I've had it since it was in DOS format. DOS format. That was in 1990.
That's DOS dash.
DOS. Yeah, there's no Windows, no major.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I've had it for that long. So that's what, 30 years I've had Top Producer. As far as tech was concerned, I used to put this little earpiece in and record all my prospecting calls. That really helped me hone my skills. So that's technologically still available. If you're prospecting, you have a headset, you buy this little piece off Amazon. I think it's about $20. You stick it in your ear and you record it because that's what people hear. And if you don't want to hear what you sound like, then shame on you. You have to practice. That's something I didn't mention on the schedule. I spend a lot of time practicing. I'm driving around, I'm going through my listing presentation. There is not one seller in this country that can stump me on a listing presentation where I don't know what to say and how to say it. And at the end of it, say, great, all we have to do now is simply sign the contract and I'll help you get what you want the time you want. Won't that be great? Sign the contract, please. Not one. So technologically, it's just Top Producer and the headpiece to record the calls. So just keep that in mind. Technology. Oh, there is Follow-Up Boss, which I think once every 2 months it pings all my database. And then I see who's checking for available properties and who's checking for listings, which gives me a reason to give them a call. So that's it, Follow-Up Boss, because it doesn't have to be high tech. This is not, high level science. This is people people to people business.
Yeah.
Phone call and face to face.
I like that. Good job, both of you. One last thing, we're gonna wrap it up. I'll pass it over to our CEO, Luis. Where do you think the market's going, Fred, in 2025? How are our agents gonna be successful moving forward?
Well, I don't know how the market's going to be in 2025. I just know it's not going to change for me because my skills are going to keep getting better. I'm going to keep working more efficiently. And regardless of the market goes up and down, I'm going to be successful. All right. You have to have that mindset. I think optimistically, we're going to continue where we're going right now. Listings are still at historic lows in terms of the numbers of listings. I'll give you an example. Whittier, 67 active listings, January 2nd of 2024. As of this morning, 133 active listings. A normal market is 250. So you can see we're still significantly lower
Sorry.
than we were, in a normal market, which is 250 active listings. That's a balance, at least in Whittier, with 83,000 units available. So I think optimistically, if you're a good listing agent, you're going to do well in 2025. If you're working with buyers, I'll give you an example. I just had eight offers on a listing in Pico Rivera. How many offers do you need to close a deal? One offer. So that means 6 buyers left disappointed. So did 6 real estate agents. And they have to put them in their car and go do it all over again. So if you leave with anything after today's meeting, focus on being a great listing agent. Get a canned presentation. Don't shoot from the hip. Know what to say and how to say it. And then you don't have to be discouraged. Because if the buyer, here's one thing, I had a listing fall out. After selling it in 3 days, 759 listing, we sold it for 800 grand. Buyer's mother fell down a stairwell over the weekend. And they called and the buyer's agent called and started giving me a story. I just said, stop. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you canceling the deal? Yes, we are. I said, send over the cancellation. Again, not attached to the outcome.
Right.
And then I sold it 3 days later again, because if you have a buyer, that agent's not going to work with that buyer anytime soon. But I have the listing. So it doesn't matter if it cancels. I still have the listing. I put it back on the market and get it sold. Yeah. Right. So you want to be a great listing agent. So take that from this meeting. Focus on being a great listing agent. And there's a lot of tools out there. Find somebody you like and use it.
I like that, Fred. Cindy, what about you? Where do you think the market's going in 2025, and how do our agents be more successful moving forward?
I'm the same with Fred. I don't know where the market's going. And it doesn't matter at this point, right? So I think that with anything in terms of being a good agent in 2025 is definitely having a schedule, practicing your scripts, and doing what you said you're going to do and holding yourself to a higher standard. And consider dressing better, maybe, doing some type of upgrade to yourself would be the first step, and keeping your schedule, I think, would be a good start.
I like that. Upgrade.
Yeah, your mindset, upgrade the way you dress, upgrade the way you do things in life, even your small habits.
I like the upgrade idea. Walmart agent or Bloomingdale's agent,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Who are you going to use?
You pick on how you're going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause for our